Welcome to the Belief Breakthrough Show, where we believe that you can achieve the life you dream of simply through shifting your perspective and breaking through your limiting beliefs. With your host, Tina Encarnacion, the author of Stuck in the Fire, a story of resilience, trauma and abuse coach, an energy healer, and Reiki master. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Belief Breakthrough Show. I am so excited to have Terri on today. She's absolutely phenomenal, absolutely amazing. She's someone you definitely need to get to know. And boy, does she know about breaking through belief systems. Before we get started, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the Belief Breakthrough Show, where we believe that simply by shifting your belief, you can change the dynamic of your life. Your beliefs control everything that takes precedence in your life. And if you are tired of living the life that you are living, simply through shifting your beliefs, you will be able to obtain the life that you dream of. This show is all about breaking out of limiting beliefs and breaking through glass ceilings and creating the life that you desire. And so Terri is a psychic medium. I am so excited because, my life, my life literally started to change after speaking to a psychic medium. And I had lost my daughter and my life was spiraling out of control. And I was just like really sitting in my misery, not knowing how to deal with it. And at that time, I was a very legalistic Christian. And my boss actually said, Tina, you need to go see this psychic. And I said, that's against all of my beliefs. I can't do that. And he kept telling me, Tina, you need to see her. You need to see her. And finally, after about 9 months, literally at the brink of a mental breakdown, I said, okay, I'll go see her. If she can help me, I'll go see her. And I went and I saw her, and she literally shattered all of my limiting beliefs. She allowed me to have a conversation with my daughter, as well as my grandfather and my mother-in-law, who had all passed away within 3 months of each other. And after that, I went on my healing journey, and it shifted my life. And so to have you on this show to open up people's minds, to break through limiting beliefs, to make them realize that speaking with a medium that has a gift from God above is not a sin, is huge for me, because it literally can change the life of so many people. And so I'm just so blessed to be able to have you on my show. Terri is also a podcast expert in energy healing and psychic mediumship. And she's an author. And if you guys have not heard about her yet, after this show, you need to look her up, you guys, because she can literally change your life. So with that, Terri, I want to hear a little bit about you. I want to open up the floor to you, because this show is all about, blasting through those belief systems and those mental programming that we are set in. And I know that you have so much knowledge that can help people explore that realm that they have never been open to explore. So I'm going to hand the floor over to you, and you tell us about your life and how you got into what you're doing, how you became who you are, and why you are choosing to live your passion out loud.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Tina. Wow. I do so many shows, and that introduction, I was struggling not to cry because, I connect to that unconditional love part, and when the host or hostess comes through like that, it's like, whoa, thank you. So passionate about what you did, where you are, meaning what you did to break through. And I had something similar where, I didn't lose a loved one, so I'm sorry for your loss. However, I lost myself. And I was at the end of a 14-year relationship. And throughout that relationship, I kept giving to connect to the love that I was giving, and endlessly giving. And I couldn't hit his go button. And the more I gave, the more he controlled. So it ended up being that there was nothing left of me. We had 2 beautiful children. We were not married, but yes, I really wanted to be. And again, 14 years. And the children were pretty small. And I just remember getting to the space of saying, there's nothing left of this shell. I had a successful career, making 6 figures. It was almost like a 1940s house. He'd come in, what's for dinner? It had to be on the table. I had to clean up. I took care of the kids. I read to them. I put them to bed. I came down, sat on the other end of the sofa, which that's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to cuddle and hug. And, he was like, I'm reading the newspaper or I'm watching TV. And it was, I could tell you what we were doing every day for 14 years. It was such a pattern. I could tell you what we ate every Friday night, what we did Saturday, what we did Sunday, and back to work on Monday, everything. And so you want to talk about Groundhog Day? So here I was, I woke up. It started as simple as, and I really hope that whoever's listening can start with something that you think is not really happening, that you're just living a life. But I was living a life, but it started as simple as I was looking for a supplement because I couldn't sleep. I was sleeping 10 hours, but would wake up exhausted as if I never slept. So I couldn't really sleep. So I woke up thinking there's something the matter with me. Nothing, no one could find anything. So I walked into a supplemental store. They sell different types of supplements. And there was a homeopathic doctor. She just happened to be there that day. She walked up to me, didn't even say anything other than, you're low on calcium. That's all she did. She walked up and said, you're low on calcium. I'm like, what? She said, take this bottle, a couple of teaspoons, 30 minutes before you go to bed. Oh my God, what a difference. I could sleep. I was waking up in 7 to 8 hours, running around, energized, magic. And then all of the things started happening. I went to go see her for other things. And I remember calling her saying, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I swear, I think someone's trying to communicate. I was not even in this realm. I didn't do yoga, didn't know what crystals were. All I did was I was a mom taking care of a house and working. That was it. And she says, no, it's not crazy. I said, but I don't see or feel. I don't hear, but I just like this sense. So then as I was moving into that was right before my spiritual epiphany. Because I was guided, girlfriends would see how low I was. I was crying all the time. I literally was crying every night for a year. My eyes were swollen shut. I would just tell everybody that I had allergies. No one knew the pain and the agony, the emotional disconnect that I was dealing with. And so I woke up 3 months before the end of the relationship and I said, this is it. I'm done. So it was 3 a.m. I call the magical hour. Because I looked at the clock. I looked at the clock. I crawled out of the bed because I still respected and honored him and I didn't want to wake him up. So I went into the bathroom, laid on the floor. I remember everything as if it was yesterday. The tiles were really cold. And I was begging with every intent that I had to stop my heart. Because I couldn't kill myself or do that. So I understand when you're listening to media and someone may have taken their life, or I understand the depth of that pain. I just couldn't physically do it. My children were that connection. However, I was so willing and able to go if someone or something else could do that for me. So here I was laying on the floor and I said, please, with all my might, I'm done. I'm ready. Take me into peace because I don't have it anymore. And then I could just feel this sense of floating. There were stars so close, I thought I could touch them. My eyes were closed. I knew I was in complete bliss. Because I'm like, oh, there it is. I had this dampness around me. And then all of a sudden, 3 words. Love will come. I mean, it was in me, around me, very masculine tone, broom, 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 like that. I'm like, what? So because I was a type A person, and if anyone ever follows vibrational understanding of words, the lower vibrations of despair, hurt, anger, frustration. Love is up there. It's in Power versus Force in that book. And I read some of it. I'm the type of person, I'll read a book and I get what resonates and I don't need to read the rest. Mm-hmm. And so I read that part in the book and I understood, wow, it raised me up just enough because hope is above despair. And it gave me hope. And so I flew back in my body. I got up and shook myself as if, whoa, what just happened? Because again, no spiritual part of me back then. I climbed back into bed and woke up and my entire life was changed. I was a type that took care of everything and didn't have time to read. I read one book a year. I went immediately to the bookstore and I came out with a shopping cart full of books. I started reading 2 and 3 a week. I was, honestly, I don't even know what was happening to me. It was absorbing like a sponge. It was resonating and helping me understand things that I never could understand in the past because it wasn't part of my life. Mm-hmm. But I was reading Esther and Jerry Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, names that I never even heard of then. But of course, I do understand and follow now. And then as I was moving further in that journey, people were randomly showing up at the grocery store. When I was shopping with the kids, I was out with my girlfriend. They would come up and give me messages like, tell me things like, you don't know me, but I feel like you can help me. My husband is beating me. Really?
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. And those messages were telling me I'm not alone in pain. Mm-hmm. People would come up randomly. I was just one of many that would tell me they're lost in despair. They want to give up hope. And I was like, what? But it anchored me to understand that I wasn't alone and I could share my story. I could tell them what happened. And now I'm on this journey that I have no idea where I'm going. And then I was guided to do Reiki. I always look at that as the lily pad of energy. Mm-hmm. You know, we all just jump from lily pad to lily pad. Yes. And I started there, and most energy workers do. It opens up a portal. And then crystals. And then I started, because I was a master in sales, so I was an expert doing that. I always worked with people that I could learn from. So it was an advanced level stuff. So I was working with masters in energy work. So I took an intuitive development course. I took a course in mediumship work. I took a course in meditation because I didn't know anything. And let me tell you, it's more than just oming. It's more than just quieting your mind. And there's a lot more to that. However, curiosity kept me going. I wanted answers and I wanted them to resonate with me. And as they were resonating with me, I was learning and realizing that, you know what? I went through some serious pain. So at the end of that last 3 months, I have enough sense in me to meaning that the sense to love me and say that I'm done with this. You can't control me anymore. I know that I am lovable and I'm done. And I left. And then I took a journey. And the journey continues. I tell everybody, I teach intuitive development, that you will get answers with every breath you take. You must be present and mindful. And as I teach it, I teach and plant my garden so that those can teach others, because not everyone may resonate with me. Right. And I hold them, I love them, send them on their way. But I'm here to help people understand that there are alternative ways to heal from your past. And so this is not you woo and woo woo anymore, right? That I actually work in conjunction with the medical field, because as an intuitive energy healer, actually people come to me with pain, and the pain that others can't seem to find out. Women drag their husbands to me by their hair saying, I cannot stand back and watch you die. and I'm doing everything to save you.
Mm-hmm.
And within 6 sessions, they're back at work. They're back at, and gaining, and they'll laugh and say, oh, you did something, but the doctor gave me a pill. And I just kind of laugh because I am part of that healing.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, there's no ego as long as they get something and then they're back to their healing process and back to the conducive lifestyle and being able to let go of whatever it was that was holding them back, because there was a lot of pain there and it turned into physical, and that they can live that lifestyle free of any pain. So here I am.
That is amazing. What a journey.
Yeah.
So you just said something that I'm super passionate about is there was pain that was physical.
Yeah.
But for me, I believe, and I know that this has been proven scientifically, that every physical pain is caused by suppressed emotion.
Yep.
Right?
I prove it time and time again.
Exactly. Yep. And so it's really interesting. Just like you have your clients that are brought to you because they're dying.
Yep.
Right? And you're able to help them. Even if it's just a piece of their healing journey, you're able to help them because you are addressing that suppressed emotion or that stuck energy. Mm-hmm. You are allowing that to release. And through that physical ailment heals itself.
Yep.
Right? Because medication is only created to suppress the pain or to suppress the symptom. It's not created to cure you. Right?
Right.
But through going to an intuitive healer or an energetic healer, an intuitive medium, we're given the knowledge from above to pinpoint where the issue is and to address it, so then your body can literally heal itself.
Right.
I'm so passionate about that.
Yeah. And let's go back to literally your topic, this breakthrough. Mm-hmm. It's because I was the one who what? You'll have to drag me in like the rest of them. Mm-hmm. However, living in such emotional pain where you don't want to live anymore and getting through it with a spiritual epiphany, and then standing back and then having individuals come at you and magical things happen to you makes your eyes wide open.
Yes.
And you do not have to push it away. Would you rather continue to live in pain and suffering, or decide that you are done and then allow things to present themselves to tweak your curiosity and say, there's something going on with that. And maybe I should look into that because it's going to start resonating with you more than all the pain and suffering that you're going through or did go through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then also you said you learn a lesson or you receive knowledge with every breath.
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
And that is so true. How many times do you walk around and you're just turning over in your mind something negative that is drawing you down, that is holding you prisoner, and then an epiphany pops in your mind and you don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden it's the solution to your problem.
All the time. I teach, as I said, intuitive development, but in part of that, if you're not mindful or present, I teach simple techniques just to be mindful. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that it's so simple, but when they go through that process, they're like, well, and I tell them it's going to change your entire life. And once you become more present in your body, meaning feeling what your body feels, because I say it's the speaker of a radio. Without the speaker, you don't hear the music. Without the body, you don't feel, right? And so as you're feeling that, then all of a sudden, everything exterior, everything around you, you're beginning to feel. And there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. Mm-mm. And once you start accepting and going, wow, I just manifested that. Or, oh, I have an example. I have a course. It's an 8-month course. It's one-on-one intuitive development besides a group work. And so the one-on-ones I absolutely love because I clear limiting beliefs in it as I'm teaching it. And so it takes them to be mediums, even if they don't want to, because it's connecting to all that is, that energy of non-physical, right? And then I teach them how to step in energy, and you can use it in your business. I've transformed business owners into billionaires because they had all these limiting beliefs wrapped around in the lack from mom and dad. And then all of a sudden, boof, wow, they're getting it. And so here she is, and she was just saying the story the other day. She goes, I was just driving along, and all of a sudden she said, I heard, beware. She goes, it was just random. Danger, beware. She said, all of a sudden she looks in her rearview mirror, and here are these two cars racing. She was just getting ready to merge over when they were going. She swore it was 150 miles an hour. She blinked and they were past her. And she said that because of that, it literally saved whatever could have happened because they were speeding beyond speeding. Mm-hmm. And so here it is, the energy of all that was saying, beware, look, be present. Wherever you were, look around. And so here we are loved and supported endlessly. We are here to expand and grow. Everything else is a choice. And the expansion is to let go, meaning that no longer serves you, or to set boundaries that you never set before, or to realize that your dad was doing unacceptable things to your mom, or vice versa, mom doing it to dad, because it can, and then it doesn't own you. And you don't have to be frustrated to say, I keep attracting the same mom and dad in my life as a partner, because you just have to sever the ties and see those patterns that became part of you, even if they're unacceptable, because it was the only thing that you knew or was shown. That's why sometimes, Tina, you'll hear people say, I have this coworker and he keeps manifesting these amazing women in his life. They're so perfect. And then whatever happens doesn't work out. But he's like, oh, this is awesome. This woman is perfect. And then he says to her that, but my parents had an amazing relationship. They showed that to me, and that's what I expect. Where for her, she had lack, argumentative parents, and that's what she keeps attracting. So we have to go back and chisel away all of the things that were presented to us. I had teenage parents. My mom was 18, had 3 kids. We were not triplets. You can imagine the lack, the anger, the frustration. Mom here, 19 years old, and 3 little kids running around, and she just wants to have fun, right? So it's all of that I had to spend years, and not agonizing years. I might have presented it like that. But what I look back and where I am today, I'm able to manifest things that I never thought imaginable. So, people say I have to have a college degree to make 6 figures. I don't have one. That's a limiting belief. I went to school halfway through and I'm like, this isn't for me. So I manifested it in a different way. I help people in such a profound way so that they can. And it's about the feeling, not the actual item. So I say, what does it feel like to have $1 million in the bank? And many of you have no idea. But then when you stop and say, wow, $1 million would give me comfort, spontaneity, being able to know that I could do things and not worry, not have doubt. Why can't you live in that space now? Because when you live in that space now, it's like a magnet. So that way, when you're feeling that you live in that, and the gratitude of having those feelings, then everything wrapped around that easily attracts, like having, and then you find, with $1 million in the bank, that you'll get bonuses, that you might, quit one job and all of a sudden you're in another one that makes you double the amount. That all of a sudden you win the lottery, or a member dies and you didn't even know that you were the beneficiary. Those things do happen often. The things that you want, I was always told, because remember, teenage parents, I was always told, in order to have what you want, you must have that cash. You have to pay for it with cash. So you have to work hard. You have to work 50, 60, 70 hours. And then on top of that, you have to do X, Y, and Z. So what do you think? Most of my life I had 2 jobs. And most of my life I had 2 full-time jobs. I had to have the money in the bank. Well, I stopped that because what I realized is when I was in my 30s, that, and my sister and I had the same pattern. Work, work, work. We want a new wash machine. Work, work, work. Minutes before we were getting ready to buy the wash machine, car breaks down. There goes the money. Starting again. Start again. Start again. Start again. I realized, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm going to buy the vacation and go on that vacation, because that wash machine, all of a sudden, I had the extra money to buy the wash machine and take the vacation. So it's really about trusting the ebb and flow and removing labels, right? Money is just energy, right?
It really, truly is.
Yeah.
And it's also in the way you exchange that energy. So if you're putting that money out to buy something, but you are bitter about having to spend that money is not going to come back to you. But if you're grateful for being able to put that money out, having that money to be able to spend it, that money will be returned to you. So it's really interesting, the energetic exchange versus the give and take, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so important to understand.
Yeah. And, where people come to me quite often, because I do quite a few shows and podcasts and things, just exposure. Come on, people, this is how easy it is. It's not hard, because everyone's like, oh, it's so hard. It sounds like it's so much work. Well, how much in your life do you want what you want? And for me, I lived 14 years of wanting love so badly, it was killing me. It was literally killing me. I remember after that, I was moving some furniture, and my girlfriend lifted this really heavy chair. She was taller than me, and she lifted it slightly over my head. Well, because of the way the weight came at me, it came, and then I was leaning over this wall, and it pinned me. And literally, I couldn't move. She couldn't lift the chair off me. Thank goodness my mom was on the third floor. We're screaming for her to come down, lift the chair off me. I ended up going to the emergency, and I cracked my ribs. They gave some x-ray, told me what happened, and then I put the report aside. My sister was a nurse at the time, comes to my house and says, show me that. Did you know you had supplemental health insurance? Submit it. It was an accident. The next thing, she's reading it, running around the house, screaming, you have cancer. I'm like, what? They just caught it. The hospital never said anything. They just caught a nodule on my lung by the x-ray, and they had it in the report, but no one told me. She told me.
That's crazy.
And so I didn't have cancer, but of course, she's like, you got a nodule, it's cancer, blah, 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 because they put it in there, potential cancer. Anyway, long story short, in the energy field, and yes, it's crazy, isn't it? But here it is, opening up opportunities. In the energy field, if your body represents certain parts of things going on. For me, shoulders are burden, lungs are life. And because I left that his and our relationship was my life. That's how I was living it. I was giving my entire life over to him. And that's why I became an empty shell. And so when I reclaimed my life, now I'm having to work back in filling that void in myself, right? And then that relationship was quote unquote killing me. If I would have continued to stay in it, I probably would have ended up with some kind of lung cancer. And I never smoked because of what was on my lungs. Do you see? And so I ended it, reclaimed my power, reclaimed my life, and then shifted it into, I tell people, you can experience that form of pain once, but you never have to do it twice if you work with me. That's it. Because I experienced it and I did it once, never again.
Yeah. It's so amazing how mindset or the power of your brain can literally change everything that's happening within your body. I'm just so amazed. So I was diagnosed with an incurable illness at 18, and I was given 2 years to live. I went over 30 surgeries to stay alive until the doctor said, we can't cut you anymore. You're done. We're going to medicate you until you pass away. And at that point, I said, I can sit here and take that diagnosis and die, or I could choose to live. And I could choose to take power over myself and figure out how to make this life thing work. And today I'm 17 years past my life expectancy. I've got 3 kids and a husband, and I have my condition still, but I manage it through belief.
Yeah.
When it starts to appear in my life, I go back into my mind, come back present into my body and say, where am I neglecting myself? Where am I not taking care of myself? What belief am I struggling with that needs to shift so I can go back into remission?
Yeah.
And I'm able to do that simply through the power of the mind. And it's just so amazing how, when you understand the way energy works, you understand that, yes, we are human beings in this physical body, but we are energetic beings. And this is just a little boundary that we are placed in, that we have. It's like a chess game. You have to learn how to grow and expand and move your energy outside of your physical body so that you can gain the growth you were sent here to gain.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I love these flashes that I get. I hear what you're saying, and then all of a sudden I heard, well, what about the ones that, that mind doesn't work, right?
Right.
And I read this book, Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani, and it was not at the very beginning of my spiritual journey, but it was somewhere up there. And I listened to it on audio, and I'm glad I was guided to do it that way, because I usually read them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to her presence, and she actually in the book used the word magnificent. And after that, I'm like, I own that word. I love that. Why can't we say we're magnificent? I'm like, she is so rock on. But it was about how, she had cancer and she actually died. She saw herself, she saw her family. And then when she came back, within 5 months, her complete cancer was gone. And she talks about the story of how she saw herself, where her limiting beliefs are within her family mechanism, why she was struggling in shifting and changing that. But it took her to die, reflect on everything, and then come back to be healed. Now, you don't have to die to be healed. You're still present. Thank you very much for choosing life. However, this is real. And I have clients, as I said, that, I've had multiple MS clients. Some start walking again and some don't. But then the ones that don't were coming at me, oh man, I never thought this was happening. Now I went from the rollator to my cane. Everything's good. But, it was terrible. And this food tastes horrible. And, the but brought the energy down.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stay in that space. It's really a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the lifestyle is, I'm grateful for breathing. I'm grateful for the walls. I'm grateful for the warm water. I'm grateful for everything that I've manifested. I'm grateful for my life. Mm-hmm. And when I start, we're all human. We get these brains and we get this thought process. And when I start any pattern of getting in, I'll start wanting that. Why am I thinking that? Oh, no, that doesn't work for me. And then I'll walk around my house. Thank you. Thank you, Terri, for doing this. Thank you, universe, for hearing me. Thank you for showing me that I was just in my head for a minute. And what can I do to live with ease and grace? What will it take for opportunities to open doors endlessly?
Yes.
I've manifested so many things. I've manifested being on Bravo. I had someone come to me now recently. Many people are starting to, all these other, high-end people, but they haven't opened doors to massive exposure. So they're reaching out. How did you do it? So I know how you did it. And then when I tell them the story of how I manifested it by simply saying, what will it take to be on network TV? What will it take for me to have that type of exposure? What will it take? And I did it endlessly. However, there's a line between lack and creation. So I would do it in the morning, feel it, visualize myself on it, running around, laughing. Then I go about my day at the end of the day. So grateful for experiencing that. What will it take for me to be on that exposed TV? I know I will. I know it. I said it without a doubt. And then here I walked into this brick and mortar, this wellness center that I was working out of occasionally for, people that weren't getting the help from other doctors and stuff. And so the phone was ringing. Nobody was at the desk. They were down the hall. And of course, I'm going to not let it just go to voicemail. I'm going to answer it. hello, I announced who it was, and they said, oh, hi, this is Bravo. I'm like, ooh. And then the cycle began, and you will laugh at how it actually happened. So because, I do so many of these, I feel so comfortable on TV, radio, and all of that, then like it was 3 weeks later, I ended up with some more clients. I walk in, I'm ready for clients. And then all of a sudden there's all of this, chaos going on in the wellness center. And I said, what's going on? They said, oh, Bravo is here today. I'm like, oh, I wish somebody would have told me. Okay. So they didn't tell me. So I just came in like, whoo, hoo, hoo. And then the producer started showing up. The camera crew started showing up. They ended up at the end of the hall. And I'm like, okay, what do you all want me to do? What do you want me to stand? Again, no expectations, just being guided. And then the next thing I hear, Terri, down the hall. I said, oh, somebody needs me to help. Go down the hall. How can I help you? All of a sudden, mic getting put on. They're giving me the storyline. And I'm like, oh, it was just like that.
Wow.
Here we are.
Here we are.
They say, let me tell you the storyline. And then I said, well, I can create drama or I can do what I do naturally. They said, do what you do naturally. And
that's
voila.
So amazing. That's so awesome.
Right. It's the same thing with you. You're taking it to your life and your health. You're taking and manifesting in being in perfect health. And so where would you like to have more fun and adventure? If it's more in your health and your body and your experiences within your family and friends, that's awesome. For me, that, I'm always living in that perfect. I always say, what would it take to be in the biological body of a 39-year-old? Perfect health, perfect life, perfect balance.
Yes.
And I'm 39 a couple of times, but I feel like I'm in that biological body.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing the way that, simple beliefs can just shift your life. And you are living it. You're showing it, you're breathing it. It's just amazing to just see your knowledge and your energy and your passion. I absolutely love it. And I know that others are going to want to touch you and feel you and experience you as well. So where can people find you?
Awesome. I am everywhere on exposure, right? So, but, I do have a website and there's lots of videos on there. I do have a YouTube channel. So it is under my name, Terri Christine. You can spell it right there. TerriChristine.com. I have many videos on YouTube, little snippets, 3-4 minutes that can help you in some of the things you're dealing with. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I do Facebook Lives. I have been guided to do some recent ones that I'm bringing my students on because I want people to understand that when you're in struggle, pain, resentment, that I was, and then you're wanting more of your life. And so when people come to me, I want more of this. I want more clarity. I want to be more like, and I say, you can be like me. It's okay. Take it on. And so that's where I've offered to teach. I've been doing it for almost 6 years now. And so they'll come on and then their life is totally transformed. And so I decided, I got this download, you got to do more. You got to show people that they can do this as well. So I get a lot of hits in the shower because, energy, there's, water is a conduit for energy. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I do Facebook Live on other things, but to bring in my students, it's like, whoo, because a lot of them are a little fearful of live work and then the platform of Facebook Live. So I'm like, I guide them through it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And so I've had 3 now. I got one later today. And, but it's, or if anybody's listening to it, just go to my Facebook and you'll see the recordings. But they are showing themselves, I can do it as well. I was struggling, and to just be tweaked, because everyone has this. But again, the limiting beliefs or, oh, that's a coincidence, or though that's crazy. It ain't crazy if you want to supersize your life.
Right.
How curious are you? How much, and I'm doing this because I was there. How much do you want to share within yourself, meaning, and then understand and love yourself,
Right.
so that you can share this with others, meaning that I use the word manipulate as a good thing. You are manipulating your energy. You're manipulating all of those limiting beliefs out of that subconscious space, so that you can make room for the true you, the love, the fun, the adventure. Because, if you're looking and worrying about what your ex is doing, then that's where all your intention is. Well, what about what you're doing? Because by then, it doesn't even matter anymore. You can supersize into attracting that beautiful soul that resonates with you.
Yeah.
And
I like.
yeah, and a good example, and you'll get me going on all these examples because I love this. This is my life and my passion. When I find that I'm focusing on something else, my calendar might become a little slow, and I might other things pick up. Podcasts do pick up when I'm focusing on something else, and I'm like, okay, more exposure, that's good. And then I'm like, oh, so I'll close my eyes and I'll visualize my calendar, and I'm like, okay, put another client there, put another client there, and I feel it. I trust it. Like, oh, I'm so excited that that person is on my calendar. All of a sudden, bingo, that same day, my phone rings. Bingo, I get an email the same day. Bingo, I get a referral. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Just like how you're living with no doubt that you can heal your physical body.
Right.
There's no doubt that I can supersize into fun and adventure, more clients, more exposure, more fun, right? I love more. More is like, whoa, living in the space of opportunity, endless opportunity, right?
That's so amazing. I'm just like so impressed with your ability to go from misery and stuck in misery to transitioning your belief and then coming into the life that you wanted, that you desired, that you created, even before you started to materialize it. You knew it was there. And that is what this whole breakthrough belief is all about, is even if you're not physically there yet, believe that you are, feel that you are, and it will manifest. And it's just amazing to watch it happen over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for giving me your time and your energy and coming on and blessing us with your presence. It has been a gift, and I'm just so grateful for you to just be on here.
Oh, no, you have no idea. With every show and every opportunity, it humbles me to be able to share this experience of my life, because everyone can do it as well. And you don't have to do it alone. I hear, oh, I've read these books, and oh, I've watched these videos and I don't have it. Well, come on, it does take a little bit more. So work with someone, step into it, invest in you.
Yes.
And the more you love yourself and you invest in these, I'm sure that you had to learn some things, get tweaked, right? And then whatever. And I was working with another girl, and I said, I think I'm ready to learn something new.
Yeah.
So, and I'm ready. I said, come on, are you ready? She goes, oh, let me meditate on it because you're a master. I said, no, but you can do it because I'm ready. So open up your doors and step in.
Yeah, I can definitely say that my life changed dramatically once I invested in myself and hired a coach.
Yeah.
That was the piece that put all of the pieces together, was investing in myself and hiring a coach. So if you guys are wanting to change your life, if you guys are ready to take that step forward and you want to work with Terri, all of her information will be below. You can find her on her website, Terri Christine. Get her book, connect with her, and be ready to change your world, because she is a powerful being, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share this episode with everyone that you know can be changed and inspired by it. Have an amazing day, everyone.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta.